Hello everyone, I'm Colette and I'm here today from Witch Ways to talk to you about ways to make your spells successful. I'm going to share 13 tips to activate your spells and help them do what you need them to do, and I'm going to share some hints along the way about ways that you can support and ensure your spell workings come out well. Most of these are simple, a few are intermediate to advanced. I'd love to hear what kind of spells you like to work with in the comments below. I hope you enjoy. How you activate a spell and work with them is totally up to you. This is just the way that works for me, and it might be different for you. Generally, what I usually do to make sure a spell is successful is to either add something to ignite it, or I add something that will help carry my intention to the spirit world where it can be acted on by the magic. You can use one or more of these techniques in any spell that you're using. Number one is breathing your intention into the spell while holding your desired outcome in mind. This works because breath is air, and air is associated with concepts and ideas. And so when we breathe into a spell, we are transferring our concepts and ideas about what we need into the magic where it can take on a life of its own, especially since we also think of breath as giving life. It's a sign of being alive. And so when we breathe into a spell, we are giving it life of its own. The second one is whispering what you hope for into your spell. And this works for the same reason that number one worked, and because of its associations with air, which equals concepts, thoughts, ideas, and the breath of life. And also, when you whisper, it implies a certain intimacy. And so you are forging a personal link with your spell that is intimate and creates magic. The third one is to chant into your spell, and this can be a bit more advanced, but not super hard or difficult. This is where you create a simple phrase that you repeat continuously as you are creating a spell. Keep it simple and very short. Maybe play with different words, see which ones sound better to you. Do you like the resonance of the way certain word patterns flow? Do the words feel authentic and powerful to you? Once you have your phrase, repeat it at least 3 times over your spell. But it also is helpful if you choose to just repeat it continuously for a long time. And this generates a certain amount of power, and it also allows you to perhaps go into a slightly altered magical space, which allows the spell work and the intention you're holding within you to more easily travel to the spirit realm. Here's my first supportive hint to help spells work out better. It's not really a way to do a spell. So give an offering whenever you do spell working. You can put water or spirits on the earth. You can give food. You can burn herbs. You can burn incense. There are many, many other ways to give offerings. I have a whole video on offerings, and I'll try and remember to put a link in the description or comments. The next 3 spell charging methods rely on heat and fire as a way to ignite the spell and bring it to life. Number 4 is using warmth from your body to ignite a spell. So you can use your hands by rubbing them together to raise some heat, or holding them close together until you feel your hands turn on, become electrical and warm, or you can move your hands in a circular position like this until you raise some heat and warmth. You can also call on the warmth of the deep earth and imagine pulling that into your body, or maybe pulling on the warmth of the sun and stars above down into your body. Once you've raised some energy, you can let that move down your body, into your arms, down your hands, and out into your spell. And then when you're done, give it a little push to let go of it, pull your hands back, and shake off any excess energy. Number 5 is sympathetic magic, and it works on the principle of the fire of desire. You take objects that remind you of what you're trying to achieve, put them together either on your altar or in the spell itself, and as you place them, start to feel the thing that you are wanting to attract. Let yourself feel it as if you are carrying it, and then let that desire for that thing to come into your life build, and that fire will draw magically to you what you desire. It works on the theory that like attracts like. Number 6 is candle magic, which is another technique that uses fire as an activating or igniting force for your spell. There are many, many different ways of using candle magic around the world. Some of them are from closed traditions. However, the way that I'm going to share is very simple and has been used by many, many, many different people worldwide, from my European ancestors and many others, even into Christianity. And so the idea is very simple. You just light a candle and repeat or state your desired outcome, your prayer, your need, your blessing, whatever it is you're wanting your magic to achieve, and then simply let your candle burn all the way out. Number 7 is to write out your desire on a piece of paper, put some herbs in the middle of it, fold the paper around it, and then burn it. This both ignites the spell and carries it to the spirit world where the magic can work on it. Number 8 is to use herbs to activate a spell, and you can use herbs that are associated with the type of magic that you're doing, or you can use fiery, spicy herbs like cloves or cinnamon to kind of enliven and ignite the spell and speed things up, or you can use herbs like mugwort, which thin the veil between the worlds, in my belief, and allows your spell to travel more easily to realms where it can be worked on by magic. So I want to share just another idea that I have based on my experience about things that make spells successful. I think it's really helpful to be in the right frame of mind. You're the only one that can say what the right frame of mind is. I don't know of any rules about what frame of mind you need to be in. Generally, personally, I like to feel kind of calm or a little excited or inspired to do magic, or kind of a little aha, yes, that's the thing I need to do. If you find that you are not in a frame of mind that feels right to do magic, or things just start kind of going wrong, you should stop. Try an extensive clearing and see if that helps, and maybe you'll even need to have to wait for another time. Number 9 is drawing a map of symbols or a picture of what you want to draw to you. And this is a little bit more advanced. The way that you can start playing with it is to draw a simple picture of yourself. It can be a stick figure, and then surround yourself with the things pictorially, or symbols of the things you want to draw to you, and then draw lines that are taking them to you. And again, this can be a little bit more advanced. You can also use symbols like the sun for radiance and expansion, or oak leaves for luck and vibrant health. Like I said, this is a little bit more advanced technique, but I think spirit mapping is an awesome way to play around with spells, especially for those of you who are a little creative and not super literal minded. And then when you're done, you can burn it using candle magic. Number 10 is all about raising energy, and this is really commonly used in Wicca and other ecstatic forms of paganism and witchcraft. And so there's a lot of different ways to do it. I'll probably do a whole video on it at some point, but for now I want to say that you can sing or chant or drum to raise the energy in the room to a peak. as you are holding your desired outcome in mind. And when it feels like the energy has reached a peak, imagine sending it off to the spirit world and letting it go, and then earthing the energy. You can also do what I call a silent cone, which is where you move your hands and maybe your body a little bit until you feel soft and magical, and start letting that build a little bit until the room starts to feel dense to you. This is a little more advanced. And when the energy in the room starts to feel very dense to you, just simply lift it all, gather it up, and give it a little push to send it off. And again, let it go and earth the energy. Number 11 is creating an action that is based on an element. And the element that you pick totally depends on what kind of outcome you're looking for. So for example, air is associated with calling in or releasing thoughts and ideas. And so you might imagine, or actually speak your intention into the winds and let them carry it where it needs to go. Fire is associated with transformation and change. So you might imagine or actually speak your intention into a flame of a candle or a fire to activate it. Water is associated with emotions and intuition, so you can imagine pouring your intention out into water, or maybe actually charging some water with your intention and pouring it into a larger pool of water. Earth is associated with abundance and growth, so you might imagine or actually place your spell in the ground and bury it, while holding the intention that it doesn't just stay there, but that it sprouts and grows new life. Number 12 is working with a being, and this can be a deity or any other helpful being that has your best interest at heart. The way to do this is to make an offering that can be water or wine or flowers or many other things. Write out your intention on a piece of paper, burn it in a heat-proof container, light a candle, and let the candle burn all the way out, asking the being to make your magic real in your life. And I wanted to share another general thought for successful spell outcomes. I personally find it important to add the caveat of this or better, so as not to limit your spell. Also, often spells are very complex because many different people's needs are involved, so I often will add the caveat of best possible outcome. So number 13 is very similar to sympathetic magic, but again, it's another step more advanced. And this is the practice of taking a mundane action in the physical world that mimics what it is you need, while simultaneously holding magical space around yourself and the intention that you would desire this particular thing. So this obviously has some limited ways that you can do it. However, you can work with things like money magic really easily by offering money to people randomly or putting it somewhere where someone will find it unexpectedly while you're holding the idea of yourself, and others receive all that they need. I personally was taught that when you include others that have that same need in your spell and say things like abundance for myself and all those who need it, it makes the spell stronger, sort of like a class action lawsuit. However, I've heard other practitioners, especially ceremonial practitioners, say that that dilutes your magic. So that's something that you will have to check into yourself and see what feels right to you. I want to share another idea about magic, and that is if something is just not working or your spell is running into a lot of roadblocks, you might want to try stopping, clearing, and doing a 3-card divination to see if there are actions you personally need to take care of before you do your spell again. Magic works amazingly well, but in the end, it is just an influence. It's a powerful influence. It will find a way forward for you if there is a path to be found. Sometimes there's not, which is why I always add to the spell, especially in difficult situations involving numerous people. Best possible outcome. Let me know in the comments section which of these spell methods you have tried, or if you have others that you like especially, or maybe there's some of these you'd like me to expand upon. And I'd love it if you fed the algorithm gods by giving them an offering to my channel of a like, a subscribe, and hitting the notification bell if that feels right to you. And if you like my content, please check out my website and my Patreon page. It's what supports me and allows me to continue making free videos, which I really love doing. So until next time, stay safe and be